Hey everybody, welcome back to another installment of my zombie couple sculptured figurine. This is Ryan, and you're watching my series Ryan Does Everything, and this is my, again, zombie couple sculptured figurine sugar art sculpture. This is the cake table. So once I had the bride and groom together, completed. I worked on the table, and as you can see, I did that same sort of process with the wood grain that I did with the dance floor earlier, and also with the bride's hair, but with some subtle differences. I folded it more so it looked more wood grainish. This is just a plain brown area that I was going to use for the table. I prepared these sections to make it look like the base. I'm just gonna show these real quick. I ended up not going with this plan because it was not going to be sturdy enough. That's just a plastic dowel rod wrapped in fondant in the inside. And I realized that once I put the cake on there, it was going to push through. I didn't have any way to hold the cake table up, and the mini cake is how I was able to see that. So I started out the mini cake with a lemon color because I decided I wanted to do a lemon raspberry filling, or lemon cake with raspberry filling. I cut each individual circle out. I used red fondant, or actually colored red fondant, to make the raspberry filling in between, cut out each section and stack them up so they looked like individual cakes. And I realized I didn't need to do this because I was going to cover them, but I decided, hey, you know what? It was fun to do anyway. So I covered them with fondant and a thin white layer. Here are all the pieces. I was going for kind of a 6-inch top, 8-inch, 10-inch, and 12, doing a 4-tier cake, just stacked, not separated by pillars or anything fancy like that. So once I got them covered with the white fondant, I used that same navy blue. I made some buttercream with the navy blue in it to show up for highlights and accents on the different pieces of the cake. There's a piece of edible lace, and that is a pillowed or a quilted kind of look pattern that I made just with the edge of a knife, and then put little dots in it just to show you how difficult this was. There's a standard dressmaker tape, and showing that it's about an inch across for that cake. Here are all 4 tiers. Here's a cake board that I was going to use on top of it. I stacked it and realized I didn't like it. Before I went on to fix the cake, I decided I'd fix the cake table, and I started that with a threaded rod and some nuts placed in different areas with 2 washers at the top to be at about the height that I was going to use the cake table. This was the most difficult part of the whole thing. I had to drill through my dance floor, and that was just nerve-wrackingly, painfully difficult to do, because if I messed up, if the drill went sideways, if anything would happen, I would have lost both my bride and groom. There was no going back. So carefully, very, very carefully, I drilled that hole. And after I drilled the hole, I took my pieces of brown wood grain fondant, made a top. It's kind of a base for the top of the table, and I ran a coat hanger wire through that, and that's going to support the cake as it's tipping over backwards. So it's all hidden underneath the fondant. You can't see it there. I wrapped the threaded rod with a piece of fondant, just a brown, and then here's a template that I used to cut out the table legs at the bottom. I decided to do 3-legged table, and here it is, kind of hiding the base that's going to be at the bottom. And there you see the legs getting put on and glued on with what did I use? I think I just used water. I twisted up some of the wood grain color to go around the base to kind of make the pole look a little better. And I think in retrospect I would have done a little differently on that, but oh well. This was an attempt to get a tablecloth, and I didn't like the edges that I had on it, so I went this other route. I did a table runner here with that same blue color, and after doing this, the blue and white cake that you saw previously and this ring pillow, my wife started pointing out some things. One, there's no way that bride would have wanted such a dark blue with white as the colors for the wedding, because it was just dark and monotonous. It was pretty boring. Also, the wedding reception, they've already done the rings. There's no reason to have the ring pillow there at that point. So this was an exercise in making a little pillow, and it was fun, but I never ended up using it. So on to redoing the cake. Basically, I just took off the fondant from the other 2 layers, and there it is for scale. That's a penny, and covered it with piping gel and sprinkled on little teeny tiny little edible beads, little sugar beads, and there it is, the 4 layers. And you can see how it kind of tips over. I've cut a piece out, and you can see down in the corner something hinted at in the next video. We will have the zombies attack, so stay tuned for that. Thank you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe for the next video and to keep up with everything I'm doing. Thank you for watching, and go out and amaze yourself and learn something new. See ya.